Hello. I would like to thank you for joining me in Pursuit of Signal. My name is Jose Angel Castro, and Pursuit of Signal is a deep dive into the social impacts of technology in our everyday lives today. I can't express how excited I am for this being the very first guest episode number 2. There's so many reasons to be excited about this episode. This is the first part of an arc that I'm calling Then to Now, because this In Pursuit of Signal was born as an evolution to a class that I taught in 2012. The most excited I am is because I have a very special guest, Madison Clarke, who was actually one of my students in that very first class. So
Lucky
that's
enough
the
to
then
be.
to now part. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm just so excited. I can't stand it. And so Madison is a style professional and a young adventurer with exciting new things.
Multi-hyphenate, yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot.
We got lots to talk about. We got some shit to talk about. We got so much to talk about. It's been a while since we were in each other's spheres of influence, and I certainly hope that we can remain friends forever, because there's something very special, I think, about the relationship that's developing here that I'm really excited about.
So
Madison
totally
Clarke.
agree. Totally agree. You're gonna be at my wedding whenever that happens.
Oh yeah.
You'll be there.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'll be the one photographing it. You never know. You
Yes.
never know. So just so y'all know a little bit about me, I'm a creative professional and a teacher, and technology, specifically the social impacts of technology, is a very, very passionate subject for me. It's something that I saw the impacts of what was going on when the smartphones first came out, which is about 5 years before this class. The class we're talking about is called My iWorld. Madison, would you describe that for us a little bit in your own words? What was that
My
experience like for you?
iWorld was super transformative for me personally. I always felt like I was very just aware from a young age of things around me, and being put in a class where we're challenged. And I mean, I said this to you before, but you know, you weren't coming to us as, this higher authority. I'm your teacher. You're going to sit down every day and we're going to do what I want to do. It was such a collaborative experience of just like learning about the world, truthfully, and like
Yeah.
about ourselves in the world, even though I was also so crazy to hear you say 2012, like
Yeah. How old are you in 2012?
11 or 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think you took us at such malleable times in our lives where we could really be formed into anything. And I think you understood that, and you were like, well, I want to give you guys tools that you don't even know are tools yet. Like, I feel like there are so many subconscious things that we took away from that class that we carry with us, just being a person in society, in the world.
Yeah.
It I have no words. Like it truly was transformational. It was in ways we didn't even know it then.
Yeah. It's amazing to hear you talk about that experience now.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to be talking to you now as a grown-up.
Yeah.
There's something about this In Pursuit of Signal to me that, I in my imagination, I'm actually talking to y'all, the group of kids that were in that class, now as grown-ups.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's so special.
yeah,
It really is.
yeah, because now you are actually living some of the things that we talked about back then.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
I think, like I said, like subconsciously we held on to things that, we think about now and it's like, oh,
we've
that,
talked about that. Yeah,
wait,
yeah, yeah,
more than 10 years ago,
yeah,
and it's still relevant. Like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
Uh,
so
yeah, I'm
crazy.
I'm in touch with some of your other classmates, two of which are going to be the next two guests on the show,
I can't wait
and
to hear like their episodes and
yeah,
hear like just different perspectives
yeah.
and like, oh, it's going to be
That,
so cool.
I'm telling you, I cannot feel more honored that I have the three of you to be these first three guests on the show because it this is an evolution of that. And
Totally.
you represent that evolution. We talked a lot about things that we tried to connect the dots to the future. If we
Hmm.
stay on this path technologically, if we continue to use technology in this way, this might be where we end up. And it's really funny how predictive that was. And speaking to what you were talking about earlier, um, it was really important for me to give you a space where you weren't treated like children, you weren't treated
Yeah.
like kids, and that's speaking to not treating you like you didn't have opinions, not treating you like you
You
weren't living
came
your
to
own
us as
lives.
equal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
think, honestly, I think just also having like a brief period of my life working with children, I think that's just what they respond to the most because they're caught in this loop of feeling so unseen and just like, yeah, okay, well,
Yeah,
nobody's paying attention. And then
yeah.
somebody does, and it's like, wait, you heard me say that? You,
Yeah,
it's not just me shouting into the void. Like,
yeah,
what a concept. And I
yeah.
think doing that with all of us, I know we were all different ages, but fortunately, me being, I feel like, probably on the younger side of our age range,
Mhm, mhm.
it really made me want to command a presence
Right.
in a room
Yeah,
because I knew, wait a minute, there are adults that can be respectful and not patronizing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. So we sat in a room in a circle around a table, and it was a Socratic discussion,
it was,
and we
we had a
chose
talking piece.
yeah,
It
we
was, yeah,
talked about all different types of technology. Mobile technology was fairly young then, but we talked about all types of technology. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember? Okay, so back then we talked about using our technology as digital babysitters, right?
mm-hmm,
As I used to call them e-binkies. You
mm-hmm.
know, um, do you remember what we talked about as being probably the very first digital mobile e-binky? Do you remember what that might be?
I don't. But in
Mm,
my mind, when I think about it, I'm like,
hmm.
could be a number of things.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
could. I
yeah.
want to say it was probably like for me and thinking about what my parents put in front of me, it was
Hmm.
probably like the portable DVD player.
Ding, 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 ding. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
The portable DVD player began to change everything. It began to change everything
And then you
because
could put
you
like screens in the back of your
in the back.
seats in the
Yeah,
car.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
it was game over.
That's actually how they started. That was before you were able to actually carry it,
Mhm.
like put it in the stroller with the kid or bring it to the restaurant with the kid.
Yeah.
It started as those screens that you could put on the backs of the headrests in the car. Um, and it's so interesting because that was quite a bit before smartphones came out,
Mhm.
right? And I think it gave people a sense of, if I put this digital thing in front of my kid, they will quiet down immediately. And I think that
Yeah.
kind of opened the door for giving kids mobile phones or iPads or whatever.
100%. I
Yeah.
think too, like being a parent is so demanding.
Oh, for sure.
It's
For
not it's not even up for question. And so I think having being a parent and having this like hour and 30 minutes of just like relief. I could do the dishes and not be bothered. I can
Yeah.
get laundry done and not
Yeah.
be bothered. It
Yeah.
felt like a no-brainer. Well,
Yeah.
they're watching a movie. I have an hour and 30 minutes to do whatever. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. 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 No, it's super interesting because, you know, you hit on something in a subtle way that is, I think, is super important for this conversation too, and that is, we're not looking for blame. We're not looking to fault anybody with anything.
No.
We're looking for the why.
Right.
We're looking for the why we are where we are, how we got here, what does it mean to our present? That's the past. What does it mean to our present? And what's it going to mean to our future if we make certain choices or don't make those
Mm-hmm.
choices, right? Um, now, okay, here's another question leading from that question. You got that one right. Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
So what do you think would be the principal difference between that portable DVD player and smartphone? So
Where do
both
I
of them could be
begin?
used for the same.
Truthfully, where do I begin? I
Yeah,
feel
well,
like
begin at the beginning.
I feel like primarily the internet is just a dangerous place. It
Mm,
is.
mhm.
And I feel like no matter how many parental controls and firewalls and locks you put up, there's always going to be a way around it. I remember being in high school and us using VPNs. I don't even know anything about a VPN and really
Yeah,
how they work, but we all had
yeah,
the app on our phones and you could
yeah.
pick what country and we'd all pick different countries and use VPNs and then go on the school Wi-Fi and get around everything.
Everything. Yeah,
Kids are so smart. If they want to get around something, they will. It's
yep,
it's the
yep,
saying as old as time. If there is a
yep,
will, there is a way.
yeah.
And I think the difference with the DVD player is although it's really doing the same thing, it's a more controlled environment. You're only
Correct.
getting this
Yeah.
DVD.
Ding, 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 ding,
There's
ding, ding,
not
ding.
going to be, an ad or you're
Yeah,
getting what you're given. There's
yeah.
not
You
this
only have access to what's in there. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
not this insane Pandora's box behind a parental
Ooh,
lock.
ooh. I love it when you said Pandora's box.
Because
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 that's what it
really
is.
that's what
That's
it
what it is.
is. That's
That
what
is
it
the truth
is.
of it. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. Yeah, and so access to the internet changes everything, especially when you talk about bringing access to the internet into a mobile device that's small enough, right? Because I remember back in those days, and I think it was sort of, it was a blessing from the students, because when you're teaching, you're not just you're not just teaching in the moments that you're in class.
Mhm.
You actually are required to be on the whole time you're on campus. Whenever you're there, you have to be on. At
Right.
least at least to me, and to me, for being a good teacher, right? And I'm not only there for the students that are in my classes. I'm also there for the kid that is having a tough time in the hallway that I don't teach, but I'm listening, so why would I
I
not be of service to that
I
kid?
love that you just said that because I
Thank you.
feel like so many teachers do not have that mentality. And I feel like truthfully that's kind of a really big disconnect in, you
In
know,
education.
in
Yeah.
in education, but also in just like adolescents' lives. There isn't that coveted teacher that you can turn to, or, if you're struggling to make friends at a new school, there's not that teacher where you can just go sit in the classroom and hang out. Like, there really are far and few between. So the fact that you wanted to be present every day is so special. And I think, too, that was another thing that made your class really amazing is that the other faculty there were not that way. Let's just say that. And
There are a couple of people who actually were, and I
100%
won't name any names, but there were a couple of
no,
teachers who all the kids during lunch would go hang out in
would
their
hang out
classroom.
with
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
100%. And
yeah.
those are the ones that we're still friends with on Facebook and still keep up with because I feel like we're mirrors. We're going to give you what you're giving us.
Exactly.
And getting that from you every day made all of us so enthusiastic and present in your class because you were enthusiastic. You were present. Like it feels like such a no-brainer.
To me, I couldn't do it any other way.
Yeah. And why would you want to?
Because kids, exactly like you said before, kids are so smart and they're so observant and they're so in tuned,
Mhm.
and often as adults we think, because they don't have very much experience, they don't have anything to say, they don't have, it's it, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a diminishing, it's a looking down toward,
100%.
yeah. And I think, I mean, there are certainly things that I would not subjects I wouldn't talk about with kids, and there
Of
are things that
course.
I know that kids can't or should handle, but I can listen to what they're going through
Right.
and deal with them on their level where they are, in that moment, and help them through. Because
Yeah.
I remember being being a teenager
Right, and
was
that's where
not
I
for the
was
faint-hearted.
always right, and that's where I was always so, like, dumbfounded in a way because, my parents, for example, they're both immigrants. They would always say, "Oh, when I you don't even know how good you have it. When I was your age,
Right.
XYZ."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Okay, so if you've been through something harder, and it's made you stronger and you've come out on the other side, why is it so hard for you to listen and, like,
Right. Right.
have a perspective on what I'm going through?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've gone through war and you can't see, like, how is there not, like, a shift that you're able to I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. No,
It's
I get that. I get that. I get that. I mean, again, we search for the why here. So, like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of reasons for that, including, that parental instinct to take care of and protect their
Yeah.
kids, and often to protect their kids from the mistakes that they themselves made, right?
Mhm.
And that whole perspective can get a little bit different, especially when you're talking about your kids coming up in a completely different age.
Yeah.
The age gap between my generation and yours is far greater than previous generations, and
Totally.
technology has a whole bunch to do with that. So, to me, that's why it became so important to understand and keep up with what y'all were dealing with when you were in school. When I started to understand and just ask questions about what apps you were on, why you were on
Yeah.
them, without judgment. Not, I wasn't trying to catch anybody in anything. I
No.
wanted to know
Yeah.
so that I can hear better, I can listen better, right? And I could also see the potential pitfalls, the potential dangers that were there, to be able to
Mhm.
help kids through that. And you probably wouldn't know that, but there were a few times where kids were in pretty hefty jeopardy behind their use of technology, and the school would come to me to try to help counsel them through that. you know um I think it's just because they understood my passion for the subject. you know
Right. And,
yeah.
you were a well-liked faculty member, so the chance of somebody opening up to you versus somebody else was far greater.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, it's so I think too, like, my generation is in such an odd place because we
Hmm.
weren't really brought up with technology. When I was a kid, we had VHS tapes still.
Right. Right.
And so it was like the generation after me, I feel like there's also a huge disconnect. I remember being in 10th grade, maybe ninth grade, and my history teacher was like, "Your class is going to be the last class that was alive for 9/11." And just being like,
Wow.
"What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?" And I think about stuff like that, and I think about, jokes that older generations make where it's like, your generation doesn't know what a floppy disk is. Yeah, I do. I know
Yeah.
what a Rolodex is. I know what a VHS tape is. And so it's like the gaps between generations, I feel like, are only widening with
Yeah.
what is available
Sure.
now. Like
For sure.
now, I saw something on Instagram the other day that was like this mom posting a funny video, and she was like, my kid asked me if I was older than AI. And I was like, that's going to be the new thing.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was young and then the cell phone happened and then
Right.
social media happened and now
Right.
it's like AI, like it's always progressing. And
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like with how fast it progresses, it only makes these gaps between generations bigger.
Yeah. 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 There was something I asked a question back then. Well, let me precursor to this by saying, um, you are so special to me, uh, because of that class, of, um, because of just how freaking smart you were, even then, and how incredibly trusting you were in the process of that class, and how incredibly vulnerable you were as a result of that trust. Um, and I remember there are two really big things that I remember, two moments that I really remember from that class, from you specifically.
Hmm.
Um, One, I asked the question because we were getting to start to think about how fast things were moving, right? And that the speed at which things are moving is what I think creates a bigger, wider gap in the generations, right?
Totally.
People my age and older, not only might they have trouble keeping up with this stuff, but they also, in a lot of ways, don't have the desire to keep up with this stuff, right?
Totally.
Um, and I asked the question, how fast is fast enough?
Just even in and of itself is like, how much is too much? It's such a strong question.
And your answer, without even blinking, and I
God.
still use the line, I still use it to this day. I still use it to this day. As a matter of fact, I wrote it into a poem. I'll
I'm
send you the link.
famous. Oh my gosh.
The a poem that I put up on YouTube in 2016, I think it was. And it's in that poem. Without hesitation, you looked at me and you said, faster. And I was like,
Oh
that's it.
yeah.
That's it. There's never going to be a fast enough. It's just faster. Everything's just faster.
Yeah.
And as we see, these early days of mass use of artificial intelligence, we see how that thing speeds up exponentially. We're seeing quantum leaps weeks from each other. Just so it's going so quickly, and the chasm is growing.
Yeah. I remember
um
like a year ago, you'd see a video, an AI video, and you'd be like, oh, you can,
Come
that's
on, that's stupid.
so, people are
Yeah.
falling for this. And
Yeah.
there's stuff now that I'm like, oh my God, that's so funny. And my friends are like, it's AI. And I'm like,
It's
what?
yeah.
Huh? What?
Yeah.
Five
Yeah,
months
we're there.
ago,
Yeah.
5 months ago, the hands would be all crazy and faces would. What do you mean? It's insane. It's
Yeah.
scary. It's
Yeah.
scary.
It's really crazy. The the beginning of people using AI en masse was not that long ago. I
No,
would say maybe 11 months ago.
it
Um,
literally hasn't even been a year and a half, and we're already in such.
yeah. Specifically using
Ugh.
generative AI,
Yeah,
which was introduced on social media as these sort of throwaway things, like, turn yourself into it would be four different panels, turn yourself into four different styles of art,
yeah,
right? And you would put your picture in, and then you would tell them which kind of artist, Van Gogh or Rembrandt or whatever, and bang, it would pop it out for you, and people would share it on social media, on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and whatever, and then it was gone. and then the next generation of it came in, right? So in my estimation, it wasn't just training the AI models, but it was also kind of training us to, in a gamified way, to begin to rely on AI, right?
Totally. Totally. I have friends, and it actually makes me so angry. I'm literally just getting angry talking about this. Like, my friend
Don't get
texted
mad, Maddie.
me.
Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Don't get. Does
My
anybody still
friend
call you
texted
Maddie?
me.
Can I call you?
I get Maddie still, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I
I
have
like Madison,
friends
so I'll just
that
call you.
will, it's like more grown up. It's Madison. I have
Perfect
friends
for the
that
city
will
you live in.
use ChatGPT for everything.
Right.
Everything. Oh, I got into a disagreement with this friend. Instead of the age-old sending a screenshot, sending it out to everybody, what do you think I should say? What do you had? What? Oh, can you
Right.
believe she said that?
Right.
We're
Right.
putting it into AI, and it's, my
Spitting
friend
out
will
the
say,
answers for us.
yeah, my friend will say, what should I say back that's nice, but also gets across how I feel, and it's like,
Right.
you're just
Yep.
texting your friend. What?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it blows my mind how quickly people have relied on AI. And it's, not to throw this into the mix as well, but it's terrible for the environment. It's ultimately making all of us more stupid. It's taking away from, like you said with the art, it's taking away from people who actually can create this art and actually make some. I can't even. Like,
I I get,
it's
yeah,
so ridiculous to
I
me.
get
I
that. I
do
get that.
not understand it. I
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
especially for things like that. Like, you can't send a text to somebody. It's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's super interesting, and that kind of addresses, you know, something else about In Pursuit of Signal that is really important, and that is to really always look for the why.
yeah,
To really always go, okay, well, this is the circumstance, because I definitely have my emotions and I have my opinions, and as often as I can before I give an opinion, I'm going to say, hey, this is just my opinion.
right.
I'm going to do that as much as I possibly can, and I certainly have my emotions about it, based on my upbringing, based on my straddling two cultures, based on my education, I definitely, based on my generation, I definitely have my emotions about it. But what I'm really, really trying to do, and you see me cross my fingers because I'm hopeful that I can do it, is I'm really, really trying to cast this whole thing beyond how we feel about it, right?
It's the big picture. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. And help people figure out, because to me it's all about choice, right?
Yeah.
I think once you get to the point where you're relying on this digital entity to help you workshop what you should say, how you should feel, what you should do, what you should cook. I mean, I'm hearing use cases like people do get their whole meal plan from ChatGPT. People are using ChatGPT as therapists. You know, somebody, and I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear. Actually, I lost that thought, but it'll come back, and I want to hear your thoughts about this. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I'm going to have him on the show too eventually. 25-year-old guy,
Okay.
really smart guy. I really like him a lot, and we periodically have these discussions about technology. I saw him this morning in a meeting. And this speaks to the why that I was talking about before. He said to me, and this is one of the most profound things that I've heard somebody say about technology
Okay.
and the social impact of technology.
Now
He
you
said
got
to
me
me,
all on the edge
"Oh,
of my
it's oh,
seat. I'm on the edge of
it's
my
good.
seat, ready to hear this.
It's good. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good. He said to me, Jose, the thing is that for a lot of people in my generation, they think of it this way: I will never get into an argument with my phone. Honey, did you hear what I just said?
It's so disappointing to hear. Yeah, I did.
But the question is, why do we have that perspective? And ultimately, to me, no, I'm sorry. You go ahead. You tell me why you think we have that particular perspective.
I think,
Hmm.
now, I could
I'm
be
listening.
very wrong about this.
I'm listening.
I think my generation just wants everything to come easy. I think the why in that is also, why don't you want to argue with people? Not to be
Mm,
toxic or anything, but
mm,
arguments are good. You can air
mm-hmm,
out your grievances. You can hear where someone else is coming from.
mm-hmm.
There's no growing without discomfort, without arguments, without discomfort.
Yeah,
It's simple as that. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think my generation was very, from an early age, I can remember, in elementary school, kids would get diagnosed with ADHD and immediately they're on a pill for it. We're not
Mm-hmm,
going to try and find other ways to deal with this. Where it's just immediately, I don't want to deal. I don't want to deal.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Just deal with it.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I think we've grown complacent in that, quite truthfully. I think if it's difficult, I don't want to do it.
Mm,
I don't want to do it
mm,
if it's hard. I think my
that
generation has
much.
lost its drive in that sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I think we're complacent, truthfully.
mm,
I think
mm,
that's what it comes down to. And
mm-hmm.
it's so disappointing. There's ads on the subways here everywhere, everywhere for this. I don't even know exactly what it's called, but it's like Friend AI. And
Oh, yeah,
their ads are like the same thing. We
yeah.
won't argue with you. Friend AI won't argue with you. Friend
Mm-hmm,
AI will always take your side. So whatever, will do this. Friend AI
mm,
will do that. And
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
lonely to me. It's
That,
so
yeah.
lonely.
I think that is an operative word, lonely. I think it can be coupled with the word isolated, um,
100%.
because as connected, as digitally connected as we are,
We're not.
I think we feel we're really starved for connection, right?
If 1,000%.
Um, but here I'm going to put you on the spot because I agree with what you said. Now, I agree with what you said. My opinion is that I agree with what you said.
But to play devil's advocate here,
But to play devil's advocate, you see my horns coming out.
I
To
know you
play
too
devil's
well.
to play devil's advocate, I'm going to ask you one question about what you just said, right? That people are the gist of it being that people are complacent, and they're certainly lonely, I think, and they're certainly isolated. I'm going to ask you one question. Why?
Like I said, because it's easier that way.
Hmm.
Because it's easier than having to put yourself out there and potentially be rejected by a friend group. It's easier than having to make that scary first leap into
Right.
something.
Right.
It ta-
Right.
it cushions everything in this false bubble that
Mm.
you're in, and
Yeah.
it's not sustainable in, like, life. This isn't, if it I feel like I could go on about this for hours, but,
Yeah.
like, people
It's
using it as a therapy, those people are in psychosis, quite truthfully. This is not real. This is not real.
right.
Like,
And okay, devil's advocate. Isn't real what we believe is real?
I think before, yeah,
Because I think and I speak to believing because that's the emotional component. We're sort of we keep circling back to this social thing, right? And so that's the emotional component of that. Um, I think because the reality of that for somebody, just like what Anthony said about the phone will never argue with you, that's the belief in not having, like you said, not having discomfort to sort of clear away discomfort. But there's still a why. There is a deeper why there. It's super interesting to me. Um, because to me everything is about when I'm really trying to sort of separate myself, get a bird's eye view,
Mhm.
be as objective as possible. Things come down to choice, but even motivation for choosing has a why,
100%. I
right?
mean, that's also just such a layered thing.
Yeah.
We could get all Freudian with it
Woo,
and
woo,
all
woo,
crazy
honey,
with it.
honey, we got some shit to talk about.
Like,
So here's what I'm. Did you freeze? Do I got you back? Okay. So here's what I'm looking at. Here's the perspective I'm trying to take on it.
mhm,
And it has to do with, my own life experience. I like to look at it when I'm trying to look at it away from my emotions. I like to look at it as practiced or unpracticed.
mm,
Practiced meaning something that I do, rinse, repeat, learn, rinse, repeat, learn, rinse, repeat in a pattern over and over and over again, oftentimes till to the point where it makes us feel like whatever we're feeling or believing is natural to us, right? So if we go back to my I world and we go back to 11 or 12-year-old you, right? If you think about how integrated technology has been in your life, it's been integrated in your life for half your life,
yeah. And
right?
that's where I think my generation is so unique because, like I said, the first half, it was coloring books, was Barbies, it was VHS tapes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean? I told you, like in elementary school, I had a phone that had 3 buttons. You could call home, you could call mom, or you could call
Call
911.
911. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was it. There wasn't even a screen. It just was like a brick with 3 buttons. That was it. Like, what is this screen? What even is that? Like, and I think too, part of where the isolation really comes from, and I actually talked about this with one of my friends today,
Hmm.
is that it went from the computer being in the family room and it was one room where everybody came in to do
It was
whatever.
fixed. It was in a
It
fixed
was in a
position.
fixed space.
Yeah.
And it was it was in your dad's office. It was in the kitchens, whatever. And this was the one place where we all as a family had to come and do whatever on the internet. Whereas now I could just be in my room all day and just do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Even that in and of itself, making everything portable and mobile and take it with you has also too just immediately isolated everything. You have
It's changed
kids
a lot.
getting home from school and going straight upstairs into their room and not coming out until dinner. And then after dinner, going right back into their rooms.
Yeah. You remember we talked about that the other day. Um, a huge difference in generations, for instance, is we who had lots of radius of unsupervised time from our home,
Yeah.
we had to leave home to get into trouble,
Yeah.
right?
The trouble
Whereas
is with you everywhere you go.
you have a whole
Everywhere you
universe of
go.
trouble right there in your hands. Right. Right. So back to the practiced, unpracticed thing. So if you're the person and you have an experience that's unique, and we'll talk about that a little bit in your high school experience. But if a person is handed a piece of technology that they can dive into intellectually, emotionally, right? They can retreat from IRL, and they do that for half their lives. What are they practiced at? And what are they unpracticed at?
Well, they're unpracticed at being present in life, whatever that may encompass, highs, lows, all the above.
And having interactions with other human beings that are more complicated, they're more complex. So
Yeah,
it makes sense to fall into a one-way relationship with your technology
totally.
when that's what you know emotionally, versus the really sort of muddy, uncomfortable, often awkward thing of dealing with other human beings. I'm not talking anything about right or wrong here.
No,
I'm just talking
I
about
think
what is versus what isn't.
too, it's so easy to pull away from the world when the world's not that great right now.
Yeah. Mm,
Why do I
mm,
want to be outside?
that much right there.
Why do I want to participate in this? And it's really
Ooh.
interesting
Yeah.
because it goes back a long time before there even was technology. And
Take him
now,
back, Madison.
it
Take him
now
back. Take
really
him back.
interestingly falls into Durkheim's like crime theory, where
Hmm.
he says that crime is a response to the world and
Hmm.
not vice versa.
Not the other
Crime
way
is a
around.
response to what's going on, to turmoil and chaos happening in society, not vice versa. And I think this falls into that. I think, you know, the
Interesting.
world is so messy and complicated and just brutal and disgusting at times.
Mm, mm,
Why
mm, mm,
ooh,
mm.
why do I want to shield myself from as much as that as I possibly can. And it's
Yes.
understandable. It
Yes.
is.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not even anybody being at fault. Who wouldn't want to just crawl back into a corner where it's comfortable and safe and warm and cozy? Wh- That's that's literally only human nature. This isn't safe. I'm gonna retreat.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So it's and I mean when we're talking about the social impacts, we're talking about society as a whole. And that's a cool thing to me about starting this In Pursuit of Signal journey, because this is pervasive. This subject has so many different splinters and
Oh,
so many fingers and so many pies.
yeah.
It's crazy. So you can one thing always leads to the next, always leads to the next, always leads to the next. So that oh my goodness, what you
You're
just were
never
saying
gonna run
is
out of stuff to talk about.
no, I don't
Ever.
think so. I don't think so.
Ever. And
I don't think so.
especially as it just progresses more and more and more, it just opens up more and more conversations that honestly, that aren't being had enough. That aren't.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's why I thought this was a good thing to start doing.
Totally.
Um, and the other thing is that each individual person has their own perspective and their own experiences within this universe, this
Yeah.
interverse, as it were, right? Each person has their own things, their own point of view and
Mm-hmm.
their own experiences that feed off this. So that's why I think it's an endless topic and it's a super important topic.
Totally
And
agree.
that's why I think we should be having this
Yeah.
conversation all the time. And I see a real lack in the conversation on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Because
It's
usually it takes about 20 years for scientific research to catch up to any given subject,
yeah.
right? Technology as we know it, the technology that has taken our lives over, moves faster than that research can move, I think. Right?
I mean, I totally agree, but I also think too, it's one of those things where like you see the changes as they are happening. It's like, why we don't even need to wait 20 years to have research tell us, hey, maybe using AI as your therapist might not be the best idea. We're seeing people just fall down this hole further and further and further. And, from that outside perspective, as somebody that does not use AI or goes as far out of their way as they can to not use AI, it's, I feel like I'm like, like I can see clearly
Right.
like the
Right.
smoke
Right.
has parted and I can
Right.
actually see things for what they are and how dangerous it is. Truthfully, it's dangerous. It's I think because it's so new too, we don't even know how to like make it safe in a way.
Well,
It's
I think what in my opinion, this is my opinion, everybody. In my opinion, what we have essentially done, and this topic, this part of the subject will come up time and time again for me. So people who listen to this podcast or watch this podcast will hear me say this over and over and over again. We have created something that we can't possibly understand. It's like rewriting the laws of physics, right?
100%.
We've created this space, to me, and this is the first mention that I'm going to make of this, and some people are going to think I'm crazy, but we've essentially created another universe, created another dimension, and it's not something that runs parallel to our dimension or our reality. It's something that intersects with it on a regular basis, and that we choose, and sometimes we don't choose. We're carried away by that sort of technological tsunami, um, and we don't choose, but we are constantly interacting with it, whether it's voluntary or not, whether it's direct or indirect. Even if we don't want to interact with it, say for instance, I'm trying my best, as an example, I'm trying my best not to watch silly videos on Instagram. Somebody else is bound to either send me a link or show me with their phone, hey, Jose, look at this really funny video, right?
Right.
So oftentimes, involuntarily, we're pulled into that intersection between the digital world and our in real life world. Um, we've done something that's unprecedented, and I always think of the example. It's a very silly example. In Jurassic Park, in the first original Jurassic Park,
Mm-hmm.
the mathematician character says at one point, you were in such a rush to figure out whether or not you could, you didn't stop to think whether or not you should. And I think we are squarely in that space
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Developers are developing things very quickly. Developers are developing things they don't understand.
It's
For
the
instance,
new arms race.
yeah, yeah,
Before it
100%.
was who's doing nuclear stuff first, who's going to be able to get to it first, who's going to be able to do it first, who's going to be able to use it first. And it's that. And I think with it being just an open market and there being so many
The
companies
Wild
that can
West.
do it,
Yeah,
everybody's trying to beat everybody. Well, I want to be the first one to do this, and our AI is going to be the first one to do that. And it's just it's
yeah,
so detrimental. It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
What's fast enough? Faster. Yeah.
Whatever's faster.
It's how can we make technology more advanced than the next guy, um, and how can we build it faster?
Yeah.
Um, a thing in the news right now is MIT just created something called Seal, and that is an AI that can write its own code to make itself smarter, right? And without any human input. So that's what makes it different from, your major large language models like ChatGPT and all these others, because they need you
Data.
to input something. They need you to input data. This thing can create its own data to help it grow
Which
more
is just
intelligent over time.
so like incomprehensible almost. Like what do so it's, uh, like
Well,
what?
it's mind-boggling, and I should say to the audience right now, because this is an important thing for me as your host, and as the facilitator of this conversation. I am not anti-technology, not at all.
No.
Um, I use lots of technology all the time. I'm constantly working to keep up. When it comes to AI, I'm in a huge study period about AI. Sometimes I get overwhelmed because I feel like I can't learn fast enough.
Exactly. That's the thing too. As a consumer, how do I learn how to keep up with this stuff
Yeah.
in a safe way?
When it's
And
changing
it's
literally every 10 hours.
every day. Every
Yeah.
day. It's
Yeah.
you're being fed some new insane top of the new shiny package version of
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yeah.
like that's another thing that also just adds to this Pandora's box of it all, where
Oh, say it again.
in middle
Say it again.
school, in elementary school, in middle school, in high school, we would always have a day where everybody would have to gather around in an auditorium and we'd all sit through this assembly on how to be safe online. You're not
Mhm.
supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. Don't answer these questions. This is how, how do you do that now? How do you teach children to be safe on the internet now when it changes in the blink of an eye every day
And there's always ways, like you said
around
before,
things?
there's always ways to bypass the safety rails. Although it has to be said, and this is a fact, not my opinion, is that there are no guardrails.
No, no,
It's the Wild West out here. There are no guardrails whatsoever.
no.
Um,
You
and when
can, ask these awful questions of, how do I harm myself? How do I harm others?
yeah,
Here you go. Here's
yeah,
15 bullet points on how to do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah,
no,
and more and more
it's
of it's coming into the news all the time. Yeah,
it makes me ask, when is enough enough?
yeah,
When
yeah.
is it when are we gonna be fine and just content with, okay, we can make funny pictures. It can write an essay for me. What else do we really need it to
To do.
do? Like,
Oh
that's
my
what
goodness.
I don't understand. Like,
Oh my goodness, Madison, you are
w-
hitting on it, man. Wow. Holy cow.
and not to get all
Do it. Do it. Whatever
political,
it
I
is. Do it.
guess, with it.
Do it.
But
Do it.
AI shouldn't be making art for us. We should be making art. AI should be washing our dishes. AI should be doing the things we don't want to do. Why are we hurting the arts and hurting beautiful literature and to take away from people who have been doing this their whole lives, that are so good, that have something that they want to say, a message that they want to put out into the world? We're going to do something with AI instead. Why
I,
isn't AI washing my dishes? That's what
I
I don't get.
yeah, I do have something to say about that though.
Please
Here's
do.
here's an interesting thing. Well, it's an interesting perspective, and it's my own opinion. It is my own perspective.
Just to make
Just
that clear
just to say,
again.
just to make it clear again, it's my own point of view on this. Um, but I think it's relevant. So I am a professional photographer.
This is,
And
yeah,
so, right, I'm a professional photographer, and people asked and still ask, what about the threat of AI? What about the threat of AI? And 10 months ago, I would have told you I'm not going to use AI. I feel threatened by it. It's going to take away clients and whatever, right? And then something changed in my perspective, and it's this: a tool is a tool, right?
100%.
And a tool in the hands of a professional versus in the hands of an amateur or a hobbyist produces very different outcomes, right?
100%.
So if I hand my camera to somebody who doesn't make photographs for a living, what they can create out of that machine is incredibly different than what I can create out of that same machine. Machine's no different.
I agree.
Machine's no different. It's the mind behind the machine. Now, I think that can also apply to the use of artificial intelligence,
Definitely.
because if I learn how to prompt, right? It's just uh, things are so much more colorful in the mind of a creative.
Yeah.
So if I learn to prompt, I would imagine that the images that I could generate would be quite different qualitatively than the average person pumping in, you know, a picture of Mickey Mouse on Mount Everest, right?
Yes. But I think the issue with that is that everybody thinks they're a pro at everything.
Oh, of course, but still, and I find that in my industry, right? In my industry, somebody will say to me, "Oh no, you're too expensive.
I'm going to do it
I'm
myself." And then
I'm
and it's
I'm
like,
gonna have my Uncle Bert do it because my Uncle Bert
okay,
just bought a fancy camera." And I'm like, "That's cool. Everybody's not my client. However you want
right.
to do it, that's fine." But the difference is
The result, the
huge.
right.
The
The
resulting
quality of the
difference is
result is far
huge.
different. Yeah.
Uncle Bert might fall on a good picture every 1,000 frames.
Right.
I'm going to produce 650 to 800 solid working frames for every 1,000 I shoot,
Right.
right? That's the huge difference. And yeah, people get that twisted all the time in lots of different ways and on lots of different things.
Yeah,
For
100%.
instance,
This is beyond technology. This
right,
is
writing in ChatGPT, people who are writing in ChatGPT without checking the writing, the result,
right.
versus a writer writing in
Yeah.
ChatGPT and then using that as a draft and editing off that
Mhm.
themselves with their own mind, with their own command for vocabulary, with their own command for
Putting
grammar,
their
with their
voice into it.
correct,
Yeah.
right? So you're I would think that there's going to have to be a plateau of some sort,
There has to be. There
right?
has to be. Everything has one. And when that happens, God only knows. But eventually it is going to have to get to a point where something happens, something is done, whatever.
Yeah.
If it yeah.
There's also the very human factor of what I call the 1% theory.
Mhm.
And that is that only 1% of people in any given industry, in any given discipline, right, really become expert at that discipline, right?
I
Put
totally agree with
years
that.
and years and years of practice
Right.
into that discipline. Learn, rinse, repeat, learn, rinse, repeat, right?
Right.
Um, which makes the output, makes the outcome
Greater.
uh, unimaginably greater
Yeah,
than what the average person will do, right?
totally.
Um, yeah, and I think that applies here too. I think even when we talk about in professional realms, I was talking to somebody who's in marketing
Mhm.
the other day. Even when we're talking about professional realms, yes, companies can generate their own stuff in AI. Yes, they can. Question is, will they? Over time, will they be able to produce the same kinds of outcomes as people who are professionally in the use of AI? They probably won't, because there is still a time factor. You still have
Yeah.
to take the time to understand how to prompt, how to write prompts, and writing the prompts. That still takes actual minutes. That
Mhm.
still takes actual hours. And one thing that is for certain is that when you start talking about companies and the higher ups in companies, they're not going to spend time doing that. They're still probably going to be outsourcing those those types of skills,
Right.
right? Um, so for me, it becomes important for me to at least try to
Yeah.
keep up and try to learn those skills and fold it into what I do. So now, instead of only being a photographer, only
Right.
19,
I was like
19 years of my life, only. Um, um, from being categorized as a photographer
mhm.
to now being able to fold in other media, including generative AI, including other means of doing things via AI that would help to facilitate, my clients.
Yeah.
And that, there's plenty of people that I know, and I'm sure it's the case with plenty of people who are my age and younger who are like, I'm never gonna catch up, so I don't want to try. And that's where the threat comes in. That's where the real threat comes in. I mean, on a social level, we're talking about the real threats. I mean,
Yeah.
those are really real threats of getting, more and more isolated, getting the feeling of being more and more lonely, not being able to connect, and being unpracticed at connecting.
Mhm.
Right. So in here, we're gonna try to cover too some of the ways to feel more connected, some of the ways, like you're saying, to make choices and not get carried away by that tsunami. You
Yeah.
know,
Which is so easy to do. And I tease my mom sometimes cuz she has an Android and she'll ask me something
So
on
do
her
I.
phone. She'll ask me something about her phone, and I won't know how to do it because I don't
Right.
know that
Android
interface.
systems. Yeah.
And honestly, like, Androids, I feel like, are a lot, I don't even want to say harder to use because at the end of the day, it's a smartphone. It's really not hard to use.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I say this to her, I'm like, there's a reason why they give iPads to babies and not a Samsung tablet. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
big, it's bright, the buttons are big, you push this, you push that. Like, there's a reason
Yeah.
for it.
Ease of use. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
A
Yeah. It's
baby
user
could use
friendly.
it. That's why
It's
they
user.
put it
Yeah.
in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's kind of the same thing. It's this big kind of question mark of how do I utilize this in a non-detrimental way?
Right.
That's so, oh, well, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Okay, so that's a great segue to this next thing that we're going to talk about real fast. Um, so you had an interesting experience that we talked about briefly the other day. When we were in my eye world, you were in your phone a lot. It
Yeah.
was that was I remember that being part of your experience, right?
Yeah.
Um, and you were telling me a story about what happened when you left. The school was called Star Prep Academy, and it was this really amazing, progressive little private school. Very few students. Like, I think we had 50 students through sixth
6th
grade
through
through 12th
12th.
grade.
Yeah.
So it was incredibly specialized.
It
Um,
When I talk about it, it's like a fever dream. Like, people are like, "What?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know. They were cooking over there. Like, whoever came up with that concept of a form of education
yeah,
knew what they were doing.
absolutely,
They knew what they were doing.
absolutely,
It was
absolutely.
such a collaborative environment on
Yeah,
all levels.
specialized, individualized. It was really,
It was
really cool.
unbelievable. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
And I mean, I feel privileged to have been a teacher there, and to have and the school allowed me to write what I wanted to write, to do.
That's what I mean. It was collaborative on every
Yeah,
level, from
yeah,
students to teachers, from teachers to higher up administration. Like, literally everybody was hearing everybody. And I don't think there'll ever, I mean, I hope not, but I don't think there'll really ever be anything like it again.
until I build it, which is an ambition of mine.
I
Which is an
really
ambition of
hope
mine.
you do. I really hope you do, because I speak so fondly about my time there and about just the school in general. It Anything that you wanted to do, you could pitch to our principal, and even if it was the most outlandish thing, he'd still sit down with you, he'd still hear you out, and
He'd
he'd
hear
say,
you
"You know
out.
what? I'll see what I could do on my end."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
It goes
And it,
back
and it,
to just,
and
"You
he
can
would
hear
even
me?"
he would even be like, yeah, he would even be like, maybe if we did this, we could get it done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Maybe if
He
we
would just
brought
add
this
to it.
person in
Or
and they did it, but it was
yeah,
so
yeah,
collaborative. It
yeah,
was unbelievable.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
I've never said this before, but it was like a cauldron of education.
It
You know,
was. It
it
really
was this like
was.
really beautiful witchy thing that with all these different ingredients in that, and you ended up with this magic in the end. It was
Yeah,
it was really cool. It was really cool.
it
So,
was.
you left there. Um, you left there. And can you tell us the story about leaving there and moving to your next couple of experiences, um,
So
and how it
I
came out
feel
in the
like
end?
it kind of goes without saying, but it's a very highly intelligent education that you're getting.
Mhm.
With that price tag, it better be.
Yeah,
Come
it wasn't
on.
cheap. It wasn't cheap. Yeah,
Come on.
yeah,
And so the double-edged sword on that is you're learning at a really accelerated level. You're in 6th grade doing high school things. You're in 7th grade doing college freshman things.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I left my comfortable little bubble of that school and I went to public school, and the 180 in that in and of itself was
Shocking.
nuts. Nuts.
Yeah.
We called you guys on a first name basis. There wasn't Mr. or this, Mrs. that. So I'm rolling up to school. I'm like, "What's up, Rachel?" And she's like, "You are not allowed to call me that." That
Mhm.
even I was like, "Okay, so we are not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are not in Kansas anymore." And
Although if you remember, I was Mr. C. I was
well,
never.
yeah, but you were Mr. C, but you were also Jose. You were like, it was so
Yeah. No, no. Yeah, for
such a
sure.
special time.
For sure. For sure.
Um, and just automatically having to be back in an environment where there is that like caste system almost of I'm
Mhm.
your teacher, you're the student
Yeah.
was so jarring to me.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
so, what do you mean I have to have a hall pass to go to the bathroom? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
what?
We wouldn't have thought of those things, but that's
It
absolutely true.
it was so like it felt like a punishment almost. Like I was like, we can't. What do you? You're saying no to me going to the bath? What do you mean? What? I'm just going to the bathroom. And it's like you don't even realize the world difference in environment until you're put in that flip. And I kind of just didn't, I don't want to say didn't care about school. I loved going to school. It was so much fun. But I also felt like because I had got so much of the education portion out of the way that it was just like a social hour. It was 8 hours of socializing
So
every
you
day.
didn't feel intellectually challenged or stimulated when you got there.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And
Yeah.
because I didn't, I'm somebody who too very, if it's not stimulating, if it's not challenging, I don't care. Why am I
Yeah. 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 It's easy to tune out then.
okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I ended up missing
That's
a
the
lot of school.
that's the bane of the existence for really smart people, by the way. I'm just saying.
What can you do? What can you do?
What can you
Ugh,
do?
there's always something. There's always going to be something. Gosh.
So they didn't challenge you intellectually.
And so I was like, well, why am I coming every day? Like, I
Oh yeah.
remember showing up to school in 9th grade and my teacher being like, we're going to start Romeo and Juliet. And I was like, you guys haven't read this already? Like, we're just starting this now? I did this 3 years ago. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just stopped showing up to school. Like, I was like, I already did this. Like, and the small amount of time that I would be at school, I never had bad grades because it was me just re-word vomiting essays
Right.
or
Right.
like it was all just in my head. Why do I have to do my homework and read the book? I could just write the essay already. I could just go back and read whatever essay I already wrote and write it with more experience.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Hello, what am I going to read
Yeah.
the whole book again for? And so I started to miss a lot of school and I got kicked out of my public school because of it.
Hmm.
Do not do that. If there are any listeners
Be
that are
cool,
still
stay in
in
school.
school, yeah, don't actually show up to school. Actually show up. My dean, one of the deans, sat me down and he was like, "Kid, come on." He was super cool. Really was like one of us, was not with that authoritative nonsense.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
was like, "Dude, what is going on here?" And I was like, "It can't be that bad. Like, why? Like, am I really being called into the dean's office?" Again, just so nonchalant about it all. And he was like, "I'm going to break it down for you. There's 144 days in a school year. You got that?" And I'm like, "Okay, 144 days. Yeah, makes sense. You've been absent for 98 of them." I remember
Wow.
being so embarrassed. I
Wow.
was like,
You didn't
"Oh,
even
so it's
realize.
bad. It's okay, so it's bad.
That's
I get why
really
I'm
bad.
sitting in this seat right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
what the hell?"
Yeah.
Almost didn't graduate because I had all these absences. My grades were fine, A, B student. But again, it's because of my previous education.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so privileged to come from that school to this that I was like, okay. well, whatever. Whatever. Yeah, it is what
I
it is.
got it. I got it. I got it.
Like I'd come home from school and I'd be like, Mom, you won't believe what they're doing. Like, just
Yeah.
so nonchalant about it all. And so they put me in my school's continuation, and I remember being devastated. I was like, my social hours, my friend, what's going to happen to my 8 hours of socializing with everybody?
So describe continuation for us.
Oof, how
What
does
what
it?
does that what does that mean? What does that mean?
It's
For people who might not
for,
know, what does that mean?
I feel like honestly, you might be able as an educator to explain it better than
Yeah.
a
It,
student,
it,
truthfully.
it's basically for students, uh, to put it diplomatically, who don't necessarily fit within the regular curricular system,
Yeah,
and actually in our educational system, because and especially in public school, and actually just in the sort of traditional education, because everything tends to be so rigid. A lot of kids don't fit into that rigidity
no,
and end up getting labeled as something, as problematic in this way, that way, or the other way, and they end up in continuation,
yeah,
which is a way to give kids a way to finish,
yeah.
even though they're not, quote unquote, in Gen Pop, as we might
If
say.
yeah,
Yeah,
literally,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think too, it's looking back, it's really unfortunate that it's such a privilege to be able to regularly attend school, to have parents that pick you up and drop you off every day, to have like it's a privilege, and not every kid has that. And it's could go on about that too. That's a whole separate conversation. But it felt like Star Prep in a way again. I was back in a classroom with only 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing stuff on a
All class size.
computer.
Yeah.
It
Individualized
was,
learning.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was just more built around us and not us being built around school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And best experience, truthfully. I don't think I would have the discipline I do today if I wouldn't have gone to continuation school. I'm now truthfully so like grateful in a way that I like quote unquote messed up my senior year to end up there. Like I ended up graduating early and was done with school early, and I would make fun of
Wow.
my friends and be like, you guys have to go to school today. I finished 3 months ago. Like I've finished early, which was, as a 17-year-old, I already had college
That's
freedom,
gold.
basically.
That's
Like,
gold. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and we had this amazing principal who, again, it all just comes back to this, who saw us as individuals,
Right.
not just students, not
Right.
just this number in this size of a student body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every day when we got to school, we had to put our phones in these locked bags, and those locked bags went into these plastic bins. And depending on what your last class was of the day, that bin would go to your class at 2:06 when the bell rang, and you could get your phone then. That was it. And it really forced us to
Wow.
talk to each other, to socialize, to
Hmm.
to to connect.
Hmm.
And it was so interesting to go from the public school, which had over 4,000 kids. My graduating class was 980, I think,
Wow.
something
Yeah.
insane like that.
Yeah.
And, you'd have like the senior stairs where all the cool seniors would sit, and you had like the brick wall where like the cool juniors would sit, and everybody would just be on their phones with the occasional, yeah, blah, 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 did you
Yeah.
see this
Yeah.
post, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
and then go right back to their phones.
But it was their phones that the filter was always their phones. The filter of life. It was
100%.
them
And
and the person they were with, but the phone was
they'd
always in.
both be on their phones talking about what we're looking at on our phones
Right.
while we're on our
On our
phones.
phones. Yeah.
Did you see what I just sent you? No, you can't. Even that too is such a disconnect. You can't turn your phone and show me and
Ooh,
engage more.
yeah.
It's, did you see what I sent you?
And I'm standing a foot
And
and a
I'm
half from you.
not even. I'm
Yeah.
standing 5 feet from you, five
Yeah.
inches from you, sometimes even, because
Yeah.
it's such a big school.
And if you're a couple, I might be sitting on your lap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're both on on different devices. And then, for the seniors that would have an off lunch or off campus pass, would walk down the hill and walk by our school, our little continuation family. We'd be playing basketball. We
Oh,
would
yeah.
be just rummaging in like bushes for stuff, some of the younger kids. And like it was just it, it just a more community feel to it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think too, you're with all ages, you're with ninth graders, 11th graders, 10th graders, you're with everybody. And so I think it just was so special.
Yeah.
It really was, every morning we'd have to gather around our basketball court and we'd all do qigong together, and then we'd go
Mm,
inside, and then we'd come
mm,
out for lunch and we'd be playing basketball. Like it was, we were all together all day.
yeah.
Whereas it was
Yeah.
me, you, and your phone were all together all day.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, I mean, it circles back to what we were talking about before, practiced
Yeah.
versus unpracticed.
Yeah.
You became, in that time that you were in that program, you became practiced at a whole bunch of things, it sounds to me. You became practiced at being present. You became practiced at human interactions. You
Yeah.
became practiced at
At
being
such a
focused.
formative time too. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
such a make or break time. If
yeah, yeah.
it's, yeah.
At a time where it's where the default can often be apathy,
Yeah.
right? The default can often be like, whatever, I don't give a shit, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's such an
be
awkward,
engaged in that way.
weird time,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we're all weird, and you
yeah.
smell, and it's
We're on
just,
fire with hormones.
ugh, and we're
Yeah,
stinky, and we don't know what the hell, and it's just like,
yeah,
but then we're all forced to sit down, and not even too, I think this was something I honestly didn't even think about till right now, but we're learning how to talk to different age groups as well. I'm 18 or 17 talking to a kid that's 13.
13. Yeah,
What
yeah,
the hell? And then I'm
yeah,
going to talk to one of my teachers who's 50 something, 60 something. Like you're learning how to communicate with so many different ages, ethnic backgrounds, political backgrounds.
yes,
You're learning tolerance ultimately. And I feel like a big part of this technology addiction is people just don't have tolerance for
yeah.
things. It's
Well, they're not exposed to those things
no,
in real life.
no.
They're just not. I mean,
Yeah,
it's that's a huge part of it. And again, practiced or unpracticed, you're just not, if you don't have that brand of exposure on a regular basis.
yeah,
The thing that what you're saying makes me think about is being around loads of different people from different walks of life, from different cultures, whatever. I mean, each household is a different culture, right? So being around all those different people, and learning to respect them
yeah,
and be respected by them. So you, as a 17-year-old, talking to a 13-year-old in a way that's healthy makes the 13-year-old feel just as valid as the 56-year-old,
right. And I
right?
think,
Yeah.
I'm actually just thinking about this right now too. That's how it was at Star. We had our phones all day, but we weren't glued to them.
Yeah.
You'd be
Yeah.
going from your class to go into the street art class and just hang out in there because your friend's in that class and you
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
talk to them. And
Yeah.
then you'll go back to, it was just so, we weren't on our phones all day. Yeah, we had phones. We had them. We had Instagram. We had Tumblr. We had, oh my gosh, Tumblr. I miss Tumblr.
Old school. You just talked the old
I just
school right
aged
there.
myself. Tumblr was amazing, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tumblr was, miss her every day, miss her every single day. But we were all still so present because it was such a mutual respect
Yeah.
all around from everybody, from the
Yeah.
kids younger than you, from the kids older than you, from the staff, everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
that was really
that's
cool.
it,
That was
such
really
a
cool
special place that was.
experience.
it was so unbelievable.
And do you think that experience in continuation today gives you a better sense of choice?
100%. 100%. I think in so many ways, it's my mom always used to say, still does. It's if I called her and said that I was talking about this right now, she'd flip out. But her big thing is you are driving the car. You can choose to go straight. You can choose to stop. You can choose to make a left. You can choose to reverse.
Hmm.
You are driving the car.
Hmm.
And I always used to be like, yeah,
The hell
okay,
does that mean,
like,
Mom? All right,
sure.
Mom.
Yeah, I get it. I'm in charge of my life. Like, who else would be? Yeah, okay. And it's so, like, dumb, but it's so true. You are in charge of your life.
That's what it
Your
is,
life.
man. That's what it
And
is.
it gave so much clarity to that statement. Like, I was like, damn, I'm really driving the car out here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And I would like to, I would, with saying that, remember you said it, I would like to just call your attention to where you're sitting right now in this moment, what you're doing in the city that you live in, how you got there,
exactly.
how those bricks lined up. That principle to a T.
Yeah.
And what's your mom's name?
Ingrid.
Ingrid, when you listen to this podcast or when you watch this video,
She's going to be like, you dirty dog. You took my quote.
understand how beautifully impactful that lesson is and has been.
100%. I say it to other people now. I'm like, guys, we're driving the car.
Yeah,
People are like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. It's literally why you sit where you sit right now.
Yeah. I had a friend. I'm no longer friends with her. Um, and we were here last summer. We were in New York together last summer, and we were like, we want to move here. This is it. Like, let's do it. Let's next summer, we're going to move here. We're going to get a place. We're going to go home. We're going to save up. Like, literally the whole flight, we were like, this needs to happen, then this needs to happen, then this, then XYZ, all
Making a
these
plan.
moving parts to get a move going. I held up to my end. I worked hard. I saved every single penny I had. I moved out of my apartment and moved back in with my parents just to save more money.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
was selling clothes, took jobs that I were soul draining just so I could do this and make this happen. And I mean, it's not to like sly anybody, but she still lives at home, still is trying to get that ball rolling. And it's like, you are driving the car.
You're
Like,
driving.
you have to every day wake up and make a choice to do whatever it is you want to do, whether it's as simple as it is. Like, I struggle with depression. I'm going to be transparent here. There are times where I don't want to get out of bed and brush my teeth, shower, do anything. And I have to, as hard as it may be, make that choice every day to do those things, to
Right.
look after myself.
Right.
It's all about choice. And it's so, I feel like once you like become an adult, once you're a grown up, once you're put in these grown up situations, you're like, shit, I have to do these things. I have to make the choice actively every day to be happy, to put myself first, to make this goal happen.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
so like,
Because ain't nobody gonna do it for you.
no,
Ain't nobody
it's
gonna do it
such a
for you.
harsh reality to
Yeah.
realize, oh, hey, it's actually all up to me. My whole life is actually up to me. And
Yeah.
it's daunting, sure, of course, yeah. But at the same time, it's rewarding. It's up to you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get to look back once, I wake up. I wanted to move to New York for so long, for so long. And now that I live here, I pinch myself every morning.
You're
Like,
glowing, my darling. You're
wow,
glowing.
when I
Oh,
take the
absolutely.
train into Brooklyn and we're like over the Williamsburg Bridge and you see the whole city,
Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
just on their phones, whatever, whatever. And I'm looking out and I'm like, I live in this city. This is
Yeah.
so, I
I
can't
remember
believe
that
it. I
feeling
can't believe
so
it.
well. I remember that
It's,
feeling so well. Yeah.
you feel
100%.
so small, but in such an amazing way.
Yeah.
It's not this like existential, oh my God, but there's so blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wow, I get to be here. I get to do this. I did it. It's my I did it moment, and I think that alone is
Oh, it's so rewarding. My
it
goodness.
is.
It
It
doesn't get
makes
it doesn't get
all
any
the
better than
bullshit. No, it
yeah.
makes all the bullshit worth it and then some. I'd do it over again. If
Yeah.
I knew this was the result, I'd do it over again.
Yeah. 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 Congratulations. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it makes me think of this image in my head, which is, life is really beautiful, but we're too small for her to give a shit,
Yeah,
So we got to do stuff ourselves.
yeah.
We're the ones driving the car, you
And
know?
it's, to kind of further expand on that, life is really beautiful if you just let it.
Yeah.
If you just let it.
Yeah. Yeah. Even with all of its inclusions,
Yeah,
like you said, with all the bullshit, it's a beautiful thing.
it
It
is.
really is. You just have to let it be, you
Yeah.
just have to let it be. So one last thing. One last thing.
Already?
Um, um, Back in the day,
Oh,
let's go back to 2012. Earlier I said how special two moments were for me as a teacher, to experience with you, this shared experience that we had. And the second one, I talked about the first one earlier with how fast is fast enough, and you saying faster. Um,
how
the,
bright am I? Gosh, I'm
oh my
brilliant.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
I'm just so
Oh my
brilliant.
goodness.
Gosh.
Um, the second one is an essay that you wrote. I gave an assignment. Do you remember what the assignment was?
Not exactly, because honestly, with most of our assignments, you kind of just let us have free reign, but it
Hmm.
was just to
Yes.
observe and write it down.
Yes. It was the assignment was specifically to, between 1 week of class and the next week of class, to spend some time observing your parents and their use of technology. Now that we're 12 years plus from that experience, why do you think I might
Mercy.
give such an assignment? 13 years, yeah, 13 years later. Why do you think I would give such an assignment in the context
Because
of
you're brilliant.
this
But
technology class? Besides that, oh my God, no,
but I
you
think
make
to
me
kind
embarrassed.
of, I mean, come on. I think to overall, the end goal was to just give perspective. This
Mm,
is what
mm,
you could turn into
mm, mm,
perspective. This
mm,
is what you could
mhm,
currently be
mhm.
perspective. This is a problem perspective. I think to just challenge us on perspective,
Yeah,
truthfully.
yeah. That and that for sure. And to spend time observing,
Yeah,
presently observing the world.
yeah,
Um, yeah, absolutely, 100%, 100%. So one of the result of that assignment was to write an essay based on your observations. And to this day, I'd never forgotten that essay. I often cite it as an example, when I'm talking about this particular subject with almost anybody. It eventually comes to that example of that particular essay, because it moved me. I'm telling you, in a way that is unique in my teaching experience. So would you do me the favor? Would you do the audience the favor of reading this essay, and maybe we can chat about it a little?
yeah, 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 yeah. How ironic that I'm like gonna read it from my phone after this whole conversation.
Well, I
But
should tell everybody listening too that when I reached out to Madison, um, to ask her if she would be the first guest on the show.
Which I'm so honored. The
Uh,
first one.
the first guest, the very first guest.
Wow.
So when I asked Madison that, it just so happened that not long before that
No,
she had been
literally like 3 days. Not even a
like
week. Not
like
even
3
a
days.
week.
She had been cleaning out an old drive,
Mm-hmm.
and she found this essay. So when we talked, she said, "I just found that essay," and I was like, "Okay, that's it. First guest. Let's do it." So please, if you would read that for us.
Seeing it in MLA format too is so, like, I can't even remember the last time I did that. That's so, whoa. Been out of school for a cool minute now. Jeez Louise. Okay. As I write this, I'm currently watching every move my dad makes. Since my parents are divorced, I get to see my dad 3 times a week. My dad seems more tech savvy than my mom, so for a more interesting paper, I decided to write about my dad. Day 1. He used his phone multiple times at lunch, checking emails, texting, making phone calls, etc. Day 2. When I was picked up, he was on the phone, so I had to wait in order to be greeted by my own dad. So powerful.
Woo.
Later that day, he was on the phone about 2 more times and once on the computer. And at 7:53, he took a 5-minute phone call. When my dad uses his phone at lunch, I honestly feel as if I'm being put aside for something more important, or like the time I got in the car and he was on the phone, so I had to wait 15 minutes just to hear my dad say, "Hey babe, you have a good day at school?" I don't think I should wait. I'm more important. Not to sound needy or anything, it's just that I'm his daughter, not a meeting he can postpone. Sometimes we'll be in a deep conversation about my future or about how I feel, and he'll get up and answer a text. But when he's talking and I answer a text, it's always disrespectful. So he can be quite the hypocrite. And that makes me more angry than anything, which, to this day, still cannot stand a hypocrite.
Oh,
Um,
preach.
Like, don't tell me I can't do something and then you go ahead and do it. I'm a teenage girl. I'm not a robot without feelings. I just feel lonely. And when it's daddy-daughter day, there's never a time where we both aren't on our phones. My dad seems more addicted to technology than me, and it's stressful.
Mm.
So many, like, words in there that I'm like, underline, exclamation point, wow.
Oh my goodness. And I think, I'm feeling the same ways that I felt when I first heard that. And probably the most prominent thought for me is that this these sentiments are universal for kids that age,
Yeah.
right? Because there's so much evidence of, observation and holding people accountable, and, you know I see you. That's another part that
Yeah.
a lot of adults don't pay attention to, is that kids see you. They're watching your ass do the things that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and
You're a
they're taking
sponge.
account of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here today, 13 years later, as a grown up, what do you think is the heart of that essay? What is the what what did she want when she wrote that?
She just wanted to hang out with her dad. She just wanted some quality time. And
Mm,
I think it's so interesting in how that shows up now in, you know, relationships.
hmm
All my friends joke that like my love language is quality time. All
Yeah.
I ever really want to do with my friends is just sit and hang out. And and I think about that and I'm like, well, yeah, like I'm so about quality time and I always have been.
Mm, mm, mm.
It makes me so sad. Like, I wanna hug her. I'm like,
Yeah. 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 Are there any elements of those sentiments that still exist for you now? Ooh, that's a hard question. Shit, I didn't even think I was going to ask that question, but there you go. There you go.
I think as I've gotten older, I've learned to just, like, not take it personally, even though
hmm
it is personal. It's
hmm
I think at the end of the day, it's disrespectful to any capacity, doesn't matter who you're hanging out with. If I'm getting dinner with somebody and I'm on my phone the whole time, or I'm like, oh, hold on, I have to take this. It's disrespectful. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And I think as I've gotten older, my dad is still the same way on his phone. I joke that like he can't multitask. He can't walk and type. So if he has to type something, it doesn't matter where we are. He'll just stop dead in his tracks and type.
Yeah.
And, I joked with you the last time that I'll go do something with my dad. We're at dinner. We're sitting down at dinner.
Hmm.
And he's silent and he's just on his phone doing whatever.
Hmm.
And he can't talk while he's doing it. It's just, I
Yeah.
gotta do this. I gotta do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'll joke, like, you're so talkative. I can't even get a word in with you. Jeez Louise, can I say something? Like, can't even get a word in. This is just, you are firing off on conversation
Talk
tonight.
about the little devil horns coming out. That's
And,
awesome.
well, come on. And it
From the
will like
mouths of babes, as they say.
it'll immediately like bring him back. And he's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I'm just better about, I used to be very, not scared, but I used to be very nervous about pulling my parents out of what they were doing because, I'm a little kid. I don't want to be like, hey,
Yeah.
stop
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell you what to do. Not in my household. Not in my 2 immigrant parent household. That was never, ever happening. And so now that I'm older and there is that newfound of mutual respect because I'm an adult, because I
Because
pay
you're
my own
grown.
bills,
Yeah.
because we can have more intellectual conversations, that I always pull them out. I'm like, hey, do you want to put that down? Like, I have no problem snapping my parents out of that little 15-30 minute trance of just
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
locked in on this.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, I think that's like the biggest shift, is not having that like fear to say something.
Right.
Now
Right.
I'm unapologetic about it.
And can I offer you something?
Please do.
An observation. I think it's really interesting because I think that what you felt from in that moment, from that essay, you have transformed and applied to your life as a grown up
Yeah,
to have that
100%.
kind of respect, to make the choice to not be separated from people that you're with.
Yeah.
And that's super commendable. That's super commendable.
I will do
That,
something with my parents' friends, and they're all, I cannot even tell you how many times I've heard this. You're so great about not being on your phone. She's not glued to her phone like other people her age. And I'm like, well, because it's rude. Because it's
yeah,
rude.
yeah,
Because I've
yeah,
been on that other end for probably the majority of my life now, and it's, it's disrespectful. Why am I going to do that to somebody who I went out of my way more than likely to make a plan with, to finally catch up with, and we're not even, then what's the point?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but to be able to make that choice for yourself and apply it to the people you love when that is what you needed. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing because
Thank you.
it could be it could be, you could see that it could be really easy to stay in that resentful state, you
Yeah.
know? But to kind of flip it around for yourself and apply it from the inside, to internalize what you needed enough to give it to other people, that's really
It's
amazing.
just like, if I feel this shitty when it happens to me, why would I do that
Right.
to
Right.
other people? Like, it
Right.
feels like a no-brainer,
Yeah.
honestly. It's
Yeah.
it's the saying that we've all been told our whole lives: treat others the way you want to be treated.
Right. Yeah, but that's not easy. That's not easy,
No.
man. I
No.
mean, that's a really
It's
hard.
easy now because I like don't really care about my phone, and when I go camping and there's no service for days on end, I'm like, okay.
Woohoo! I'm like,
Like,
woohoo!
literally, I'm like, oh, so I can just leave it in the car. I don't even have to
Yeah,
worry
yeah.
about it. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Woohoo! Awesome.
And I th- honestly, I'm really grateful for it in the long run, because I don't want to be somebody that's glued to my phone. I do want to experience the world and everything it has to offer, whether it's positive or negative. I think like we were talking about earlier, I think there's no growth in that. And who wants
Yeah.
to be stagnant?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
wants to be stagnant?
I mean, I think I agree with you 100%. And I say it quite often. We often learn the deepest lessons through pain and discomfort.
Yeah,
And if you remove the pain and discomfort, you remove the ability to learn,
I
you
totally
know?
agree.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think it
So,
ties in everything of just like it's hard. I don't want to do it.
yeah. 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 Okay. So, in conclusion,
Right.
my Madison. Ah,
I'm like nervous. What are we going
I
to talk
love you
about
so
in
much. Oh my God. I love you
conclusion?
so much.
Ah!
Um, in conclusion, we will close this episode of In Pursuit of Signal, the inaugural guest episode, the very first guest episode with my style professional and professional adventurer, Madison Clarke,
Thank you.
with a question that I asked the class back then.
Oof, okay.
Given all that you know now, the experience that you have, the experiences that you just finished recounting to us, given all of that information, if you have kids,
Oh, this is a crazy question. I feel like I already know where you're going.
you probably remember it. Would you allow your children to use technology in the same way you were allowed to when you wrote that essay?
I
Healing
don't
back.
think I ever had like a quote bad relationship with technology. I don't really think there was ever a point in my life where I like could not live without my phone. I don't
Hmm.
know who or what or why is to say that is. There's probably a million different reasons.
Hmm.
I think I would still say no.
You would not.
I would not
You
because
you s-
even
you
though,
you say you would still say no, which means you remember saying no then,
yeah,
because then you passionately said no.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would still say no because although I didn't have this like inseparable relationship with social media, with technology, it was still so detrimental for me. The self-esteem issues that came with it, the
Right.
isolation that came, just the shitstorm that came with it growing up, trying to be a young girl, navigating, like it was, no, nope, no, no.
Yeah. Yeah. No. 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 I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I get it completely. I get it completely. And I remember to a person in the room that day, everybody was like, no, 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 hell no, 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 no.
Yeah. No, no.
Yeah, I totally get that. I even remember, I think it was Elliot who was sitting to my right, who was like, fuck no.
Yeah,
And
probably.
and and I was like, wait, hold on. Okay, I'll accept it because you're feeling super passionate, but watch that.
Right.
But we
Yeah.
all laughed it off,
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no,
Because
I
it
get
was
it. I
that
get it.
like it was just that strong of a response. Like,
Yeah.
fuck no.
Yeah,
Hell no.
it was
Fuck
really
no.
strong.
All
Yeah,
the
yeah.
explicits, no.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Yeah. It was
And
really
I
that
think
it was
too, it
really
was
that
one of those
passion.
things where we're all in that time, we were all actively dealing with whatever social media was giving us. For me,
Yeah,
that was self-esteem issues. So
yeah,
as I'm sitting there going through it, I'm thinking, do I want my kids to feel this way? Probably
yeah,
not.
yeah,
Probably not.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And now looking back, like you said, 13 years later, in the words of Elliot, fuck no. No.
Yeah, yeah.
No. It's a
Okay, so
strong no.
okay, so now you've just inspired me um to invite you back. If you would be willing to do another spot, I would love to have you back.
I could be a regular reoccurring guest. That's how
Woo!
passionate I feel about this topic.
Woo! Woo! Don't say that to me, girl, because I'll take you up on that, girl. Okay. So the next time that we see each other, the next time that we talk to each other, the
Okay.
next time that we record an episode, get ready because
So excited.
I would like us to talk about what you
I see the
just,
wheels turning
yeah,
up there. I know
what you,
that devious little brain is
Woo!
firing
Woo!
off. Oh, I can't wait.
Woo!
I'm there. I'm sat.
I would like for us to talk about girls and social media.
Yeah, I could talk about that for years. I was in therapy for that for
Ooh.
years.
Oh,
That is
oh.
a topic I am beyond passionate about.
We got some shit to talk about, you and I.
We so do. We
But yeah,
so do.
but yeah.
Wow.
So we will we got to get
Next
into
time
that.
I see you guys, we're
Yeah,
going to be talking about that.
For sure. For sure. No, there's lots to talk about.
So much.
Thank you so much, Madison. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I really I can't even express how much I appreciate it and how excited I am for your life and how proud I am just to know you. It makes me so happy. It makes me so happy that you were here.
I just can't even begin to put into words how just I can't do it. But you honestly have been such an important figure in my life. So to like reconnect so many years later is so special to me and so meaningful. I remember I'd see you walking around the canals and I'd always stop and say hi to you.
That's the last time we saw each other was there.
It was on the canals. And it really means a lot to me that you thought of me to do this, and that, you know, work that I did eons ago still stuck with you and resonated with you in whatever way. It's so impactful to me and so meaningful and special, and
it's part of the rebirth of this concept. It really is part of the inspiration for reviving this and evolving this whole thing was that essay, that experience, because it was so incredibly powerful, so poignant.
I don't think I would be the person I am today if it weren't for you in that class. And
oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. It's really nice. Truly, you're
such an amazing human, and I really appreciate you thinking of me and having me on, and
absolutely,
especially as the first guest. Haha.
I'm excited for your second appearance. So this has been a pleasure, and I thank you for joining me in Pursuit of Signal. This place, this forum, this circle is a deep dive into the social impacts of technology on our everyday lives. And I welcome you to join us in other episodes. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. We got a lot of shit to talk about. And Madison will be joining me again, and we will have new guests of all stripes, be they regular folks, be they experts in their fields who can talk about this subject from their own personal perspectives. Because the thing that we want in Pursuit of Signal is to be an on-the-ground forum. I hear New York City in the background. That's fantastic. I love that.
It is. I like slowly heard it creeping up, and I'm like,
no, she's calling me. That's her calling me. Next time I'm gonna see you on the streets of New York.
I am hoping and praying.
I can't wait to walk with you through the streets of New York as two grown-ups. Oh, I can't wait.
It's gonna be insane. You mean we can get a martini?
It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
This has been so special. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, watchers.